fact, this example of our freedom and our enterprise, because it's what everybody knew us for out there in the public arena. We're known as this Aquarian thing. So, okay, now you got the background and how I come to this chart. Now here's the kicker. Once you admit that we're Gemini rising, and you understand why the 8-9 degree stuff comes in and all these things, and you rectify the chart by using the great trauma of 9/11, and then I actually went back and looked at Pearl Harbor, looked at some other things, but it was real clear. Now we know that we're a Gemini country. Yeah, we change our mind. We go back and forth, hot and cold, conservative, liberal, conservative, liberal. You know, we told them we'd do all this stuff, and we made all these pacts, and then George Bush was elected, and he said, I'm not going to follow what the previous administration did, and he went against them all, and so you can't really trust us, can you, because we're kind of Gemini. Write it down and make a treaty, ask an American Indian. So we're a Gemini nation, let's face it. We have two tongues lots of times. Oh boy. The saving grace is this Uranus here is the real planet of power. The Aquarian age, the brotherhood place. At any rate, okay, Mercury has to be the ruler of the chart. You look for Mercury, the ruling planet, here it is, at 24 degrees of Cancer. And it's got a wonderful sextile to Neptune. We are a country of faith here and artistic creativity and belief in our children. The Neptune is in the 5th. It is a Neptune nation. We have all these groups and teams and companies are Neptune, like the churches and maybe these are corporations, chemical companies, oil companies. That's what Neptune is. They really pump up Mercury here a lot. Of course, we've got a planet in opposition to the ruler of the rising sign. You've got an enemy. This could be the one that gets you. Who is it? It's Pluto. And Pluto is here in the 9th house at 27 Capricorn, opposing this by 3 degrees. So we have a real enemy here. It's like having yellow jackets buzzing around you all the time. Now, who is Pluto? Pluto's in the 9th. It looks like people across the ocean or experts. Yeah? These are, I call him Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes in the house of experts. Who's that? Cripes, it's the CIA, folks, and the FBI. And etc. It's also, now Pluto is the ruler of the 6th house. It begins the 6th here, which is servants, employees. See, it starts with Scorpio at 2 degrees in the Koch system. And with the chart I know is right. And so Pluto is our servant. And so who is that? Well, it's the slave. Yes, it's the black slave we were so scared about. And Benjamin Franklin just hammered that whole thing. A month before he died, he went into Congress and railed against the way they had set it all up. So the servant here was the slave, right? The black guy. It's also the police, the CIA. It's the servants. It's the tools we use. In fact, probably it's the way we help people. Is we try to help people by researching and developing higher knowledge or travel overseas or, probably, we should give them all nuclear technology. Well, look, that's what the problem is here, is the depleted uranium that we're using in Iraq and is blowing up into little things 1/10 of a micron in size and floating over and going down around the Gulf of Mexico and poisoning our own people. And what we do is we got all these servants, and the servants are the poisons. And the worst poison of all of Pluto is plutonium and uranium and depleted uranium. And we got epidemics of diabetes now because it's like Lao Tzu said, folks. What was the sign? It is in the nature of a military weapon to turn against its wielder. Tao Te Ching. It is in the nature of a military weapon to turn against its wielder. Wow. Well, we got the itch, don't we? The very things we use to cure ourselves and to make ourselves safe hurt us and give us cancer. Pluto is our enemy, folks. It's a major, major thing. Astrocartography, real interesting stuff. When you wrap that map around the world to look for these dangerous places, here's Pluto on the descendant, which would be very dangerous. Here's Mercury on the ascendant. This area here, I think, where we were pirated a lot. but the line goes through here. I think this is where all the slaves came from. And we could also wind up with viruses that come through this area. This is where Pluto opposes our rising sign, you know, and this line. And so nasty stuff comes through here. Here's an interesting thing. When you look at the map of the U.S., Pluto, right up here on the midheaven, the place of Pluto runs down this line. And it comes down through here, right through New Orleans. Now it turns out you've seen New Orleans going off with police. I tell you, in a way, New Orleans is like the place where we eliminate. You know, as Pluto is the place of elimination. Yeah, it's your rectum. And if you had hemorrhoids, you'd look for Pluto in the chart, kind of stuff. So Pluto is elimination of toxins and things, and the whole valley in the river system takes toxins down here and eliminates it out into the ocean at New Orleans. And the Pluto line runs right through here. Now this is also, of course, the place of pirates, our Pluto, and are very well known, the New Orleans thing. What you might not know is this was the place of slavery. Oh, there was a couple slave places over here, and each town had one or two professional slave traders, but nothing like here. In New Orleans, there were 50 professional slave trading companies in New Orleans. Now, you saw New Orleans go off with policemen. Even when it got trashed and it should have been helpers and Mars and firemen in there, they put guns in there, and it's still going off. We just had a big Pluto thing happen around New Orleans, didn't we? How can that be? Because the Pluto line is being set off. Yes. And so when it's set off, the United States confronts its enemies, and New Orleans confronts its policemen and police power. And police are a problem in the United States, yes.